So I was doing some research and I decided to ask ChatGPT. And I asked ChatGPT, I was doing research on payment methods. So I asked ChatGPT, what payment method did you think would be the dominant payment method in Anambra State in 2023? And ChatGPT told me.
Yeah, very wicked.
ChatGPT told me that is M-Pesa.
Ah!
M-Pesa, I was like, wow. So imagine.
How did M-Pesa cross the bridge?
So first of all, he spoke, yes, he said M-Pesa, and he said, oh, mobile, and then now said M-Pesa. But anyway, what I asked was, apart from cards, what payment methods, would, no, I asked a lot of questions. I think the one I asked about Anambra, I said 2023 Anambra, state, and I didn't say Nigeria. I just wanted to find out. We didn't know that it's in Anambra.
And it was trying to figure out where Anambra is.
No. It was intelligent enough. In its response, it said, "Oh, Anambra State, whatever." That he thinks M-Pesa. I said, "Oh, wow, M-Pesa." Anyway, so I just imagine, there's some people that run consultancies, and then just go to the internet and look for information and then carry it and slap somewhere. And they have an article. If they trust a lot in this kind of things, right, we'll be having a lot of false data roaming around the internet, and that's number one. Number two is a lot of these applications, like people are building applications off ChatGPT, so using their APIs and whatever it is. So there are many applications that are coming out that are ChatGPT based, and those applications are hurried, right? Hurried in the pricing, hurried in the stability, hurried in many things. And sometimes when you go back, a feature that you saw there, you won't see anymore. If you go to LinkedIn and just chat and just type AI platform or AI tool, you see plenty.
You see plenty, yes.
So what I do is each day, if I have time, I'll just check out like 2. And there's one I saw, I think it's something about vectors, right? But there's something about a vector. So and my darling on Splash, if you use on Splash for getting very, very good pictures. On Splash has gone the pricing mode now. So they have on Splash Plus and most of the nicer pictures. So I thought maybe this thing would help me replace on Splash. So let me ask it. Give me the picture
to generate a stock photo.
Exactly. Give me the picture of an African girl paying, because I don't know about you guys, and pictures that have Africans are very hard to come by.
Yes. In fact, have you noticed that whenever you type black, even on Google, they just nothing happens. It's so funny.
Give you a white picture in white.
They give you white people.
In black and white. So some platforms do that very well. That are good at giving black pictures. On Splash used to do that. Pexel used to do that, right? So I saw like, let me even see whether I can use this and be generating my pictures, because I insist on having pictures that have people looking like me and and the people that I grew up with, because we need to represent ourselves. So I asked for an African girl using a POS to buy coffee. I should have sent you that picture so that you so that you put it. I saw the picture, I was like, this thing, like you want me to take this picture now, put it somewhere. The girl also did something strange, and then they put a chip, on it. That's to show that it's a payment card. It was
what you're asking for.
Yeah, so.
But it will take a while. It will take a while before we get to a point where the robots can actually take over.
About taking over, so that's one of the questions I asked, ChatGPT. They say you want to take over product managers' jobs. How far with that? And I was like, no, he doesn't want to take over. And that's actually what he wrote. He doesn't want to take over the jobs, and he can never, take over product managers' jobs. And then proceeded to explain what product managers do. I don't know if we have that, the questions that are coming up, but it's just to say that they can't take over our jobs. The people that will take over jobs, or that will make companies consider hiring less staff, than they have right now, are people that can leverage those tools to do faster work. So you have 3 people, you know, you don't need like a social media manager, for example, and then maybe a growth manager and all that, but you have one person that can do all these things because the person knows how to leverage different tools.
Exactly. Okay. So if you what are some tools that you think can be useful to product managers? So we've identified a number of aspects of product management that AI can help with. So there's research, there's strategy, there's design thinking, there's documentation, launch and growth, and a lot of different aspects. So like what tools, not necessarily tools that you have used, but just what tools have you come across in your line of work that you think we can benefit from?
Okay, I really love this tool. It's called Quid. Product managers can use it to analyze. Quid is QUID. Quid.
Okay. Oh, okay. I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, so it's a tool that product managers can use to analyze and monitor, different market trends. For most of the tools that I'm going to talk about, most of them are either starting with O or Q for some strange reason. Like Ola is nice, depending on where you're using it for. It would have been nice, to know the kind of the people that are on the call and maybe the regions that they work in. Because what I see, right, is that a lot of these tools are very good in some regions, maybe because of how data is available in those regions. But some other regions, you just use it as data, not data that will help you make very informed decisions. It's data that will help you learn about what's happening in other places. So for Africa, data is very scarce. And no matter how elegant the tool is, if it doesn't have access to data because a regulator has locked it, we don't have open banking, with and all sorts of other things. People that have commerce data, like this year, NBS data came out really late, right? And then when it comes out, it's always like 6 months back, and NBS data has all sorts of things: GDP data, health data, food data.
Yeah.
So even if you want to plug some of these applications, to the data, and it's not available, what are you basing it on, right? So that's the drawback for some of these tools. But going back to that, Quid is very good for market analysis, right? And then also for market analysis, you have something called Qualtrics. I told you most of them are Q or O. So Qualtrics is a customer feedback platform that helps product managers to gather and analyze customer feedback. So this one, you would need to do your normal closed user groups or that kind of thing, gather data inside there, and then now analyze the data. I've spoken about Ola. I get a lot of data from Visa and MasterCard. In fact, I set trends, right? And then whenever it will ask you, who do you want to know about? What companies do you want to have information about regularly? And then I was very interested in Visa, MasterCard, so I put Visa, MasterCard. So, 1 year later, 2 years later, 2 years later, I'll just go to my email and I'll see, oh, MasterCard just did this in Botswana and Visa just did this in some far-flung country. So it helps with that. There are things we use every day, like Google Trends. People don't know how to use Google Trends and they think it's just Google, but there are Google Trends, right, that you can configure. And it also gives you data. I have Google Trends for all the subjects that I'm interested in, EdTech, FinTech, all those things. And you can even put them per region. So anything that happens in any of those localities, it would send you the data as well. Yeah.
Iphie, can you spell the last tool that you mentioned?
Is it Ola?
Yeah.
OWL. Which one?
Oh, this one. ER.
Yes, Ola. Sorry, I have a Nigerian accent, y'all. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay, so a few other tools, because as product managers, we do everything, and it's very interesting that we do, but it's fun as well. So A few tools that I have also come across that I think would be of some benefit or the other. So browse.ai helps you monitor websites without code. So I think this is exceptionally useful for excuse me, exceptionally useful for competitive analysis. So, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my competitors' products, and there's so many of them. I don't want to it will take a lot of time to go through each one by one, and you're trying to understand, for example, what their tech stack is, or what the flows are and things like that. So this browse.ai helps you to do that. Brancher.ai also helps you to connect models and build apps. So for example, I've built a flow and I want to do I want to build a prototype for a conversation, for a pitch conversation. Brancher.ai can help you to do that. So there's Puzzle Labs as well. Puzzle Labs generates knowledge base and glossaries. So you have, a lot of documentation, and you want your customers to easily, like FAQs and stuff like that, which obviously we do a lot with. Puzzle.ai does that for you. There are a number of other ones as well. So I'm just going to share this list on the chat now, and you guys can copy. I think the chat closes out.
One thing I would like to say is don't allow the word AI to scare you. And the way tech scares some people, right? Like some people, you just need to add tech beside any word and it's sufficient to scare them. Legal tech, health tech, fintech, and then so don't allow it to scare you. Don't say, oh, I'm not techie, this is for the techie, insisting, it's going to give me a migraine if I look at it. No, artificial intelligence, it's intelligence, and if you're a product manager, you've already made the cuts, for someone that is intelligent, because we don't do one thing, we do anything we need to do to make something happen, right? Yeah. So there's something that is beyond you learning it. And then try and identify what is useful, and what is not. There are some things that you might, depending on what it is, you might write it better than ChatGPT will. So there's no point asking ChatGPT, right? Or you might even get it from wearing your shoes, wearing your trainers, and going out into Balogun and getting the information from there. Nobody knows it like those people inside there, and ChatGPT can never know it, maybe in the next 6 years. So understand what you should spend time on and what you shouldn't spend time on. So if they're looking for data for e-commerce, something about women that sell, or about SME, traders, don't ask ChatGPT. Wear your trainers and go and look for the information. Don't say, oh, I have 30 minutes and I'm going to run it through ChatGPT just before the meeting. Don't do that one. So don't allow it to scare you. Use it to the extent that it's necessary, right? And understand what you should ask it and what you shouldn't. And whatever it is, it outputs for you, especially if it's somewhere where you're not a specialist or you don't have domain experience. Always try and double check, because there's a probability that you might be getting information that is incorrect, and you don't want a customer to correct you, or you don't want to be corrected, as a client side doing presentations. You don't want that to happen. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Iphie.
Thank you. Fintech landscape. This person is from Access Bank, so I imagine they are speaking from an African context. A lot of, for regulations and compliance, a lot of governments are paying a lot of attention or putting a lot of focus on compliance this year. And you'll notice that about the past 6 weeks we've entered for this year, many people are getting licenses. Like people are getting payment holding licenses, people are getting lots of PSSP licenses, all sorts of licenses, because the game has changed. But how AI is helping that to happen, I don't know. What I would have said is more of even blockchain that caused it. Like everybody towards the end of last year were like, if you're doing anything with any fintech company, whether they are crypto or not, just make sure that they have the appropriate licenses, because of what went down with FTX. So I don't know that AI is helping
sorry.
to change the landscape. Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay.
So
a student is asking, Ahmed is a student and is asking, how can he use AI?
Depending on the AI platforms, he can use AI to turbocharge his learning. AI helps with, especially because what he's learning are concepts that have existed for a very, very long time. Maths, English, all that. So AI would help to turbocharge his learning, to get materials from different places. So he doesn't need to read a lot of books or Google a lot before he gets, what he needs. So that's how he can leverage the use of AI for research purposes. And that's what AI is really good for, right now. I don't have any other thing else to add.
Okay. Okay, so Olani is asking, what's the hope of a management trainee in a world where AI is taking over jobs? I think we already established that AI is not taking over our jobs. So
yeah, but I understand what her point is. Like somebody that would trust in you to, how it is when you have the bosses and you have management trainees, and what they do a lot of the times for when the bosses need presentations, need all those things, is to go and help them gather all those things. And so if the boss can just click, on ChatGPT and get it, so he doesn't need me, right? All those Sunday frenzies because you have a Monday presentation and you're doing this for your boss and you're doing that for your boss.
Yeah.
It's true, but Olani needs to be the management trainee that is AI savvy. So she needs to understand, or she, I don't know, needs to understand how to leverage a lot of AI platforms to change the game concerning exactly what they do at work. So yes, your boss can do that, but does your boss know, that maybe he can get better vector images from some other kind of tool, or he can write better captions for his presentation, right? Or there are different tools that are now inside things like PowerPoint. I was doing something about animation, and I thought I needed some complex thing, and I was researching at the point I left it and said, this thing is distracting me, let me do something else. When I finally found what I was looking for, I was very embarrassed to find that it was a new update on PowerPoint. It's called Morph. I was embarrassed because I thought
it's called
PowerPoint.
What?
Morph, MORPH. Let me type it.
Oh, okay, morph, like join something together.
I don't know about.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. And I was like, because I thought PowerPoint, I'm done. Canva is the new thing. Canva gives me everything I need. It's time to
no, PowerPoint is super. I always tell
like,
people.
Oh my God. So there are many more updates. So yes, maybe your boss knows how to move different rectangles and squares inside PowerPoint and to put headline. You need to show him that the game has changed, right? And this is the kind. So collect one of his presentations, and then do something extra on it so that his attention can focus back on you. You're the one that's supposed to be using AI to change the game, not him replacing you with AI. So that's what I would advise Olani to do. So it's still back to the same curiosity. I think any human being that is learning right now that is not curious, you would have a lot of problems. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for making the time to attend. Thank you for joining and listening and staying with us till the end. It's been a great conversation. Thank you very much, Iphie, for taking the time to teach us about AI and how it has helped you. A very great